The moment comes from American civil rights hero Rosa Parks. And she says, memories of our lives, of our work, and our deeds will continue in others. And I think Rosa is so right. And I want to take her quote a step further and talk about pipelines, right? So I think what we don't do enough of as a culture is create pipelines for people. I've made it, and for example, I've made it, and when I made it, it took me a long time. But since I know what I did, why don't I use my memories and my work and my deeds to help somebody else make it? I think a lot of times in life, we decide it's okay to slam the door shut behind us when we make it somewhere instead of helping somebody else make it. And I think it's a fear. It's based on fear, really. It's a fear that, well, if we help them, they'll take our spot. No. If we help them, we have created more spaces. Right? We've got to change the conception on this one. I think from time to time we think, oh, if we help them, they're going to eat our piece of pie. No. If you help them, you're going to create another piece of pie, and you're going to have two pieces of pie instead of the one piece of pie you had before. So, when you think about the memory of your life, when you think about your work, when you think about the deeds you do, think about how it has impacted others. How did you help your neighbor? How did you help your brother? How did you help your sister? And that's why I'm a big believer in mentoring. You've got to, if you are out there in this space and you have done something, whether it might be big or small, if you made it to college, you should mentor somebody who's in high school. If you made it to high school, you should be mentoring somebody in middle school. If you graduated from college, you should be mentoring somebody that's in college. If you are a doctor, you should be mentoring somebody that wants to be a doctor. If you are a journalist, you should mentor somebody that wants to be a journalist. Hell, if you're an Uber driver, you should mentor somebody that wants to be an Uber driver. Because you have done something that they are trying to achieve, and you could make their life a little bit easier by helping them out. I think sometimes in life, folks, we forget that we stand on the shoulders of other people. Just because we think we made it all the way by ourselves and we worked our behinds off, we've made it. But I'll be honest with you. The Fowler Show would not exist if it wasn't for Cathy Hughes creating Radio 1 50 years ago on a dream and a prayer. Cathy Hughes wouldn't have existed if there wasn't a black-owned radio station before her. None of us would have existed if Christmas addicts didn't fight in the Boston Massacre. We stand on shoulders of giants, and we've got to remember that. Every time I go on air, both here at the Fowler Show and on regular television, I think about who was the person that went on air that made it okay for me to be on air. And it always goes back to this one moment at the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington a couple years ago, where Medgar Evers' wife, Myrlie Evers, said, "It's amazing to wake up and turn on my television and see black people talking about politics on TV, because when I grew up, I never saw that." And that moment for me was a transcendent moment where I'm like, oh my goodness, 50 years ago, there wasn't a Richard Fowler on television. Even though you might not like me, even though you might think that I have crazy views, even though if you disagree with me on Edward Snowden, top of the show, right? I am here. And me being here means that I should be bringing somebody else along with me, so that there's not only the Fowler Show, but there might be the Brian Show, or there might be the Lisa Show, or there might be the Hillary Show, or there might be the... You get the drift, right? We have got to do our best to pull somebody up behind us, because that is where our real worth is. That's where our work is. That's where our work continues to be. Rosa Parks is only great because she brought millions of people behind her who could sit on the front of the bus.